In this video, we're going to talk about how you create consistency and predictability in a service-based business. So let's get right into it. I've done two separate videos. One is how to create consistency and productivity in a product-based business, and this is all about service-based businesses, and they are different, and there are some overlaps over the two videos, but this one is very much focused around services, and it's incredibly important that you create consistency and predictability in your business, in a service business, because often you are looking at hiring people. Now, whether that's a PAYE sort of employee with all of the tax and issues and paperwork that goes with that, or you're hiring people on Fiverr.com or freelancer.co.uk, or wherever it is that you're getting people from, okay? You need to understand that if you take that risk to shell out quite a lot of money for somebody, and the effort and the time required to find them and recruit them and keep them and all of those things, then recruiting somebody could actually break your business. As a micro business, your first hire can make or break you. So it's very, very important that we get predictability into our business, so I put this money on the table, I hire this person, and I'm not going to break everything. So the very first thing I want to talk about in terms of consistency and predictability in your business is this idea of the mirror. What you put out, you get back. And it is absolutely crucial that as a business, we are consistent, we are predictable, we behave the same way. In a service-based business, we're customer-facing often, and we have to have a consistent customer experience throughout, so that the customer feels safe. They don't feel like they're in some random toxic relationship where one blow hot and cold and all of that. Okay, so they want consistency from you, and that will create predictability. They will predict, they will go to a meeting with you, have a great meeting, you'll come back with some great work, whatever it is, and they believe that, and that becomes a belief, and that creates the trust that you require as a brand. Now, as a service brand, it is much harder to build trust because it is quite intangible, and also it is much easier to lose it because there is also people, they'll put you on a pedestal, like, oh, we found this great new supplier, they do da 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 da, and then when they find out that you're just normal, they can often be disappointed. So managing expectations is done through consistency of behavior, consistency of speed of delivery, consistency in terms of getting back to the customer and agreeing to do things slightly outside of boundaries. All of those things reassure the customer that they are working with the right business, and so they stick around. And if they stick around and they're roughly spending X per month, you can have the predictability of that income. But if you're unpredictable, your customer's income will be unpredictable. So first up, in terms of what we can actually do to our service, is we need to build in repeat purchases. And that's actually quite difficult with a service-based business. Often we're commissioned to do a report or build a website or do, 6 sessions of coaching or some kind of service for, clean that flat, whatever your service business is. And that could be anything. So a service could be anything from doing somebody's nails to building a website. And it could be anything from here's £40 to here's £4,000. So services is a very wide, intangible game, and it is different for each one. But the key principle is, how on earth do I tell my customer, get my customer to do something regularly? So for example, if you do somebody's nails, you could say, look, it's £40 every time I do your nails, whatever it is. But if you get them done every month or every 2 weeks, I will do them at £30 each. So if you sign up for a 3-month kind of thing and you come to me regularly, I will give you it at a discounted price. So we did a thing where many years ago, the customer would say, we'll buy 100 hours of your time. When I was running a marketing agency, graphic design, digital agency. So we'll buy 100 hours of your time. Great. Let us know when you get to about 80 hours. You tick the hours off as we buy them. We trust you completely. Obviously, we're going to they have somebody and a marketing manager who knows what they're doing. And obviously, if we did no work and still build them, they'd be slightly dubious. So, but they trusted us, we trusted them. And once you get to about 80 hours, literally just flag it and we'll raise a purchase order and you buy another 100 hours. But of course, we want those hours at a discounted rate. We're going to commit to about 100 hours a month, but some months we might plow through 400 hours and other months we might plow through 50. But we're going to buy these up front, and then when we need you, we'll call on you. So this is great because it means I have some kind of consistency. The flip side was we actually had a major sports brand, and they would never, ever, ever tell us what was coming up. They were great to work with, loved them completely, but they just would never tell us what was coming up and what money was involved. I remember saying to them, if you could just give me some idea, I could hire another person and then I could literally dedicate them to your account and you'd get much better service offers. But they never did. So by creating these mechanisms of repeat money, and I'm talking in terms of repeat money directly from the service, not necessarily subscriptions and things like that, which I'll come to in a minute. So you try and get the customer to engage with you and buy the core service in some way that it becomes predictable. And the next few points are going to be some of those ways which can do that. So the first way that I like to talk to businesses about in terms of securing incredible predictability and consistency in your business, in your service-based business, is to get into tenders. Now, this is something which is not sexy. It's not something that people talk about on social media very often, but I absolutely guarantee you there are tenders out there from anything from £5, £10, £15,000 to £1 million that small micro businesses are involved with in some way. And it might be that those micro businesses are actually partnered with a larger business and they go in and different people will be agree to deliver different parts of a tender. But actually, there's some very small tendering now in the UK, especially once it's over a certain amount. I think it's about £15,000, £20,000. An organisation that is involved in the public sector, housing association, NHS, etc., would absolutely have to put out a tender. So there are websites that you can sign up to, and you sign up to the website and you get notified of different tenders that are valued to you. And this means that you can apply for those jobs and you win that work. And normally, if you're applying for the right ones, you win that work and you know that you have £60,000 coming in every year, year in, year out, for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you are committed to that, and it gives you massive predictability and consistency in your business. You can scale up, you can hire staff based on it, you can get all of your operations based around it. Once you've got that tender in play, you can move forward, and it is an absolutely fantastic way to grow your business. So once we've looked at tenders, the next thing is to look at subscriptions. And I've kind of covered this in some way, but it is about getting your service customer to commit because they're buying your time. And one of the value things that you have with the customer is when you're delivering a service, customer is king is not always true. Customer can blooming well wait, right? The fact that, we bend over backwards for our customer, do whatever they want, blah, blah, blah. No, we absolutely don't. We try to. We'll put in as many systems, processes, and people in as we can in order to do that. But at the end of the day, if we're busy and they're not paying us any money, they can wait. And when they do pay us money, we schedule it in when it's scheduled in. So what a subscription type basis says is you have priority on our time. If you pay us X amount per month, when you phone us, we'll drop the ad hoc project that we're doing for some customer over there because you pay us a subscription, you pay us a retainer, we'll do your work, and they'll just have to wait. Now, if that other customer also wants us, they'll have to pay us a retainer. But then once we've got retainers in place, we know what money we've got coming in every month, and we can hire more people. So service is very much about, well, hang on a second, your resources are actually limited. There's not this, you can't just turn a lever like you can with a product-based business, or hire, buy another warehouse or get another factory and all those things. And those are difficult enough, right? But finding the right people at the right time to do the right job for the right customer could take 3, 4, 5 months. So if the customer phones up and demands, I want it now, do you have a retainer? If not, wait. Now that sounds counterintuitive to people like, oh, I've got to look after my customers. Yeah, and they've got to look after you. They're buying your time, and your time is absolutely crucial. And one of the things I would say to you is, I know more than anybody what it is like to just give away your time for nothing again and again and again. And the more you give to the customers, the more they'll take, the less they'll respect you as a service agency. So in services, your time is crucial, and you do not give it away for anyone, and retainers are a great way to get that consistency and product and predictability in your business, and your customer will get a better service from you. The next level down from that is some form of subscription. And so I've got retainers up here. Retainers are important. That's about the core service of the business, and you're buying my time for that. But with a subscription, what you're doing is you're buying the ad hoc stuff on top. And what do I mean by that? So the perfect example I would use from my experience is building websites, software for people. You buy the website, 10, 5, 3 pounds, 3,000 pounds, whatever it is. And then there is the hosting, the email support, any kind of bug fixes, updates of the software like WordPress or Joomla or Drupal or whatever it is. So you have the core product, and then you have your support and hosting and all those things. So one is a large amount. Let's just say, for example, it's £5,000, and then they might pay 40, 80, 120 pounds a month ongoing for those services that you as a business can pay a junior to do and automate a lot of those things. They get done, and you start accruing an amount of money each month that you're getting, and that gives you predictability and consistency. And I know a couple of agencies where they have absolutely worked ridiculously hard for 2 or 3 years, but their sole aim was to build up their hosting and support, and then the entire business expense, salaries, rent, everything was covered in those monthly fees. Any project work they had on top was a beautiful bonus, and at which point they could then start developing their own software. It gave them so much freedom. It was great to see. So those kind of ongoing micro amounts, 40, 80, 100, 200 pounds, 500 pounds a month, in terms of support and little stuff, subscription stuff, is fantastic. And I guess if you're like a coach and all of those things, then you're looking at subscription into a web platform where people have access to additional resources, training courses and stuff like that, like what we're trying to do. And you might even create mastermind groups and all of those things, and higher levels of subscription. But all of those things mean that, like for me, if I'm doing some marketing consultancy, that's a project. Well, once we've done that, would you like to come in on our mastermind group? Would you like to have ongoing ad hoc support? Would you like a retainer? All of those things. So those are the conversations that you have beforehand to prime the customer that that's what's kind of expected of you at the end. You don't have to do it, and if you don't, it's not a problem, but you're going to get a huge amount more value out of it, really, if you do. So obviously, subscriptions are a great way to create a bedrock of money, which provides you with consistency and predictability in your service business. The next thing I'd like you to think about in terms of this is to create what we call productize your business, your service business. This is really important. It's a great way to create predictability because you're turning this into a much more tangible thing. So the example that we tend to use is maybe if you're a golf coach and you then have a specific package around improving somebody's swing, and you give it a name and even a little sub logo or something like that. Same if you're a personal trainer who specializes in squats or something. You're literally that niche. Like I will get you from squatting half your body weight to 1.5 times your body weight in 3 months. Boom. And it's a package, and it's called Squatastic, and it's I don't know, £700, and it's a fixed price. That's it. I'm gonna commit to 3 months. This is what it involves. We'll meet on these days. We'll do this. We'll be at this gym at this time, and you've productized it. You've turned it into a very tangible, structured thing, which is this price. And so then what you can do is you can then start tweaking the parameters of your product and the price, and you have your marketing mix, and you can actually do stuff to then say, well, actually, if I sell it at this price but with this discount, and I do an Easter special, I should be able to, or January special if it's weight loss, I should be able to sell at least 50 in January, and then I can just I can make £35,000 at the beginning of the year, and I've got everybody lined up for the year, and I'm good to go for the first 6 months. And that gives you predictability. So now we've covered quite a few things which are great for improving your service and working around your service and setting up structures and contracts and subscriptions and all those things with your customer to improve your predictability and consistency in your business. And that knowledge allows you to then take risks and hire new staff and buy new servers or whatever you need to do in order to expand and grow your business. But the next thing is a bit weird. We start to filter into sort of how does your marketing then help that structure? And just with the product video that we've done as well, we have to then communicate somehow. So with a product, you really want to be continuously improving your product. It's a key part of reassuring the customer that you're on their side, you're looking out for them, you're doing your best for them. And it's exactly the same with a service. You have to start telling your customer, we're really good at this. This is why service businesses go in for awards and that kind of thing. Because in reality, nobody really knows. Like, let's say they hired you as a handyman or a nail technician, or they might be able to then look at that and go, oh my gosh, you cut my hedge, it's rubbish. You did my nails, they're awful. But when you get into a much more complex thing, like a solicitor, accountant, a marketing agency, something which is more intangible, and actually the customer doesn't really know much about it, and that's why they're hiring these people. They're spending quite a bit of money, and all of a sudden they're like, am I really getting a great deal? Am I actually working with a great agency? Am I getting good consultancy? And the answer is, a lot of the time, they don't really know. So it is really important that you reaffirm to the customer at all times, look how hard we work for you, look how good we've done for you. Really, really hammering it home that they are in the right place, they're with the right company, they're getting great service. Okay, you must tell them. Now, the flip side to this is, if you're in your own little pool the whole time, then sometimes we start to doubt our own service. So it's really important that you take a step out of your own business and look at what other people in your marketplace are doing and reassure yourself that you are actually delivering a great service. You have got the latest systems, processes, the best people, whatever it is. Now, I'll give you an example for this, which was good for me. We got involved in a project about 10 years ago now, and we got involved with working for a larger London agency, fantastic agency. I won't mention their name, but they are a great agency, absolutely brilliant, award-winning, fantastic people. And I went up there, and I was pretty daunted. We're a tiny little agency out in the Shires, and I was just a little bit like, I'm going to get blown away. I felt a bit out of my depth, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it. And actually, I was beautifully, amazingly, wonderfully pleased to realize that, yeah, I was working with some really top-notch, clever guys, but actually, most people in that agency were just good. They were all right. They were doing a good job. They were solid. There was even a couple of people I was like, I wouldn't hire them, right? And I could take that back to my agency, my little regional agency, and I could be really pleased with me and my team that we were actually delivering fantastic service to our customers. And it was really nice to know. But I would never have known if I hadn't got involved in that bigger project and sort of stepped out of my comfort zone and sort of worked with some people doing bigger stuff. So it's really important that not only do we remind our customer they're getting great service, we actually remind ourselves, and of course if we're not delivering great service, we really need to then step up training, learning, systems, processes, all of those things. So that's the next thing, which I think is really important to ensure that your customer keeps coming back to you. Your own confidence and their confidence in you is crucial for them to keep writing those checks and paying for those monthly retainers or whatever they're doing. So we're into the end of this video, and the next three things are all blended into one. And the very first thing I want to talk about in a service-based business, especially, although it still operates in a product-based business, is this thing called account-based marketing. Now, account-based marketing has been this kind of thing which has really exploded in the last 3, 4, 5 years in the UK, probably around the world. I've been bashing on about account-based marketing for a long time, and pretty much ever since we started getting these really amazing digital CRM, so customer relationship management systems. There's a plethora of them out there, and many of them are amazing. You know, the biggest ones are like Salesforce or HubSpot and stuff like that. But the great thing with a CRM is that if you set it up right, you can manage your customers at a micro granular level. You can manage far more customers at a level which they feel they are getting great service. They feel special. You knew their name. You knew them. So you are working on a larger scale, but making more people feel special. And a CRM does that. It's not just an address book or an old-fashioned 1980s Rolodex. So the CRM enables you to then do something magical, and that is called creating a tag taxonomy. I won't go into detail in this video. We're going to do a whole separate range of videos on this. But for me, it is the future of marketing, and it's been around for ages. Just lots of people can't do it, won't do it, and don't do it. But tag taxonomy basically means you create structures of tags around what people have done, conversations they've had, events they've come to, products they've built, and you enter that into your CRM, and that enables you to look after them so much better. It enables you to create a customer profile at an insanely more detailed level. And as a result, you can then trigger autoresponders, sales calls, event invites, whatever, to those customers, and it embellishes on your ability to look after them, to invite them into your golden house of enchantment and look after them like special guests. So a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, set up correctly, we're not going to go into the detail on it, but the use of this at a level where you then generate a tag taxonomy that creates this wonderful profile that you can then communicate with your customers and invite them to things on a much more granular level is absolutely crucial in the modern 21st century, 2021, 22, to help in a service business. Now, the next thing from that is that with all of that data, when did they talk to somebody? When did they click that link in an email and then see that Facebook advert and then call the company or our sales? You know, when did all of these things happen? What was the flow? How much did they spend? Why did they spend it? So we can then start measuring. So the very last thing is measure. We create key performance indicators, and we start to create predictability from the numbers, and we can start to say in our marketing, well, look, you know, if we spent £1,000 there, we got these kind of results, because there's never direct cause and effect in marketing. That's a myth, right? But we got these kind of results. So the water is trickling down the mountain, and we're coming to the river, and we're going to come into the golden house of enchantment, and we can start predicting the flow. We can see where the main water is flowing. Now, obviously, some is going off here, but we get this predictability. We start measuring things in the CRM. We start creating data. We start creating reports out of that. Then we can start creating additional budgetary nuances. And then we can start creating predictability around, well, if we spend this marketing in this way, with these channels, with this advertising, with this message to these people, then we should get that. and we start creating predictability in our marketing, which should get predictability in our sales. And if we've got predictability in our sales, we have predictability in our money. If we have predictability in our money, we have predictability in our profit. And with excess profit, we can then use that to take more risks, grow the business, and move forward. So I really hope this video has been useful for you. I'm sorry it's been a long video, but I hope I've delivered a huge amount of value. And I'm really hoping that you could subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with as many people as possible you think might help, help other people, other micro businesses, and please look out for the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care.